Okay, Valerie, dear, here we go. I'm going to read you your star stories first. You have. It's a starting point for discovering your stars. Your journey begins with focusing on the stars and their myths that add their unique qualities to your character. Star qualities are particular features that contribute to your seed potential. They become apparent as your skills and resources through your life's experiences, for it is only by using them to deal with problems that you discover the potentials they offer you and how you can handle them wisely. So you have Alhena in Gemini. This is a white star at the left foot of Pollux, one of the twins of Gemini. It is the heel of Pollux where, as a divine being, he was vulnerable, and this is the place where he carried a wound. In contrast, the star was also known as the proudly marching one, and represents someone who has the capacity to step forward with determination and promote a cause or an idea. In both scenarios, the quality is to step forward. That step may be difficult, or it may be taken in protest. This star gives leadership qualities in these areas, and you can find yourself being propelled into representing your social circle or a group. In fact, you are a social activist, commenting on situations either through art or by directly voicing your opinion against what you see as injustices against the innocent. That's beautiful. Okay, so what other stars do you have? Antares. Woven into the fabric of your life, Valerie, is a star story of rebirth and transformation of the great scorpion in the sky, the constellation Scorpius. This creature stands guard at the gateway to the west, the realm of the underworld, and all who pass through its domain undergo a journey where their old self dies only to be reborn, a transformation of the self. Such a journey is one of your patterns, not personally, but through the lives of others. Your career decisions will thus be motivated by this interest, but your work is not so much a job as a deep instinctive desire to engage with groups in a way that brings knowledge or order to a situation. You may interact with large companies or sizable social issues. Okay, another one of your fixed stars. These are describing the fixed stars. Then I'll go to your chart, because you're a Pisces rising, so this is probably the most important thing you need to know. The Shadow Walker, living with both destruction and achievement. Your life is touched by a star story that captures the tension, passion, and dynamics of two different forces. One side of this story features the ancient figure of a woman who is deeply angry at injustices and willing to take on the world in any context to correct such wrongs. This is the star Algol, and she represents a force that can be both supportive and destructive. Her theme is focused obsession, and she will guard the ones she loves with her life. This obsessive energy can rise suddenly, like Kundalini, if you've ever heard of that. The passion and raw emotional intensity connected with this star story also means that periodically you will find yourself in situations where people are dealing with loss or difficulty. This is where your greatest strength lies, for you have the capacity to help others to understand this. Beautiful. Okay, now I want to look at go to your chart. I'm going to read you the degrees. You have the sun at 27 degrees Aries. 17th of April, 1984. And 27 degrees. The sun, you are a Pisces rising. Pisces is a water sign. Your sun is in the second house, which is an earth house. So your sun being fire, coming into a water sign, living in an earth house. It's waterlogged and it's kind of stuck in inertia, your prana, your life force. Okay, you have Mercury there, retrograde, 5 degrees Taurus. So, but your sun is in Aries, a fire zodiac sign, but it goes by the houses. And if your birth time is correct, 3:30 a.m., you are 2 degrees Pisces rising. That's a water sign. It's infinity, I told you that, right? And that is kind of what the star stories are indicating. We have, let's say we have 4 quadrants. The first of those quadrants, you have Venus, Sun, Mercury, Chiron, the wounded healer, and your North Node, your life path, right there at the base of your chart. All right. Now, the second quadrant is how we interact with others. That would be our 4th, 5th, and 6th house. Partnerships, day-to-day working. You have no planets there. So there's no, and that's, you've got Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. So there's no automatic tendency for you to tend to the day-to-day things in life. That's something that you would want to develop because it's an empty space in your life, okay? And then when you get to your 7th house, that's also partnerships. You might find it difficult to engage with partners, but again, there's no planets in that house. So what you would want to do is develop routines. This is just you, mind over matter. Develop routines and maybe even little word plays or role plays with a partner, whether it's a boyfriend or even just a friend. You'll want to just develop some kind of little routines, role-playing games. Come up with a script of, I'd like to be able to just do this normally, okay? Like, I found sections of my life that were completely incompetent. I felt like a klutz. So, like the day-to-day thing. So developing a routine and just, not being mean about it, but just trying to go through the motions of developing some little routines. Okay, so the rest of your planets are at the top of your chart. So you've got Pluto, Saturn, Moon, and Mars in a stellium in Scorpio. So that's where that Scorpius is. Scorpio is fixed. Unlike Pisces, it's also a water sign, but Pisces is the infinite. And it's also mutable. It has this ability to mutate and change. Scorpio does not. So what's dyed in the wool for you, and your moon is up there, you have such passion and you have ability. With Mars there, that's that knife that cuts clean. There's not, a good surgeon, he can do like a surgery and there's hardly any blood because his knife is so sharp and he's so accurate. Okay, so Mars rules Scorpio. And the modern ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, and you have both of them there, along with Saturn, which is structure and discipline. It's like the head teacher, calling you to the carpet. But it's you. It's your energy. It's almost like you being your own father. And with the moon right there, the moon being your mother, you be your own mother and father. Scorpios get a bad rap. Now it's at the top of your chart and your sun is in Aries. But with that stellium up in Scorpio at the top of your chart, it's not quite it's in the 8th and 9th house. Even more so. That's the Scorpio house. So you really have a lot of energy to transform, transmute, phoenix to the ashes, and then burst of life that rising from those ashes, and then so that's the energy. You with Mars here, it's a proactive thing. It's a thing you go out and you do. Yeah. So your destiny, and I think that Pollux and that ability to be a social justice warrior. I think it's Elhana in Gemini that I just read. That's at the very bottom of your chart. So you might be working from home to do this. But you need to do it. You need to get organized. I know that's hard for a Pisces rising, especially with the sun in the second house. You feel stuck in that. But you can be liberated. You liberate yourself by taking seriously your path, your vision. And you have Jupiter in Capricorn in the 11th house. So the reason why I mentioned the 11th house, because that's your visions, that's your hopes and dreams. And you've got Jupiter there. Jupiter is expansion. And it's in Capricorn. So the best way to use your Jupiter to fulfill this, whether it's a home business or you're working out of your house, like maybe making trips or whatever, or you're doing social media, which is very possible. It's discipline, hard work, but it's so expansive. And you have the ability to bring structure, but in such a happy, positive way. Bring transformation in a positive, expansive way. People will feel good about this, cutting of surgery, whether it's it's needed, but you have the ability to make them feel good about it, to make them feel positive, okay, not good, but positive. I mean, yeah, there's hope with, like, say, a surgery, and some people have hopes in a vaccine, and that's a positive thing, even though they're taking this thing. Well, I don't see vaccines as a positive, just personally, because I have a rare condition. I can never have any vaccines whatsoever, and I never have from a child. So to me, it's a false hope, because I only see vaccines as harming later on in life. I've just seen it with my own eyes. So sorry to use that example, but it is an appropriate example for what's going on right now. Okay, maybe a year ago I wouldn't have said that, but right now there's a lot of people that have that positivity. Okay, so let's say you're going to have a virtual business. That virtual business will be of communication of some kind, and it will be for people who are hurting. Now, where that's going to be aimed toward, you're going to aim it to the outside world. The outside world is going to see you as eccentric, odd, a rebel, the quantum rebel. That's my moniker, because Uranus, which is one of those outer gas giant planets, it's beyond Saturn and Jupiter. Its twin is Neptune, which is your ruler. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So your ruler is there, it's in your 10th house, that top of your chart. So you will, let's say 5 years from now, you got your career off the ground. What are people going to say? They're going to say this is like a modern mystic. Only it's the, like, Gandalf getting the kids in trouble by giving them fireworks and, dangerous toys. But you want expansion. You want people to be free. You want them to learn how to be free. And you want to show them through wisdom how to be free. And you can. You may have to be comfortable with being an oddball. You might have to get comfortable with looking like a eccentric. And maybe you're not there, you know? I have also Uranus as in Leo. You have him in Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. Nice, a nice trine to your sun. My Uranus, I call him the quantum rebel, in Leo, in my 8th house. It's like I could care less about money, which has caused problems. Yeah, when you can't pay the bills, yeah, money is important. But I just don't see it as, I know it's empty, you know? And you might have that kind of feeling like, with Uranus and Sagittarius, this knowledge you're giving me, this textbook, these classes, they're BS. You just know. And you have to learn to trust your knowing, because you are the boss of you. Like I said, everyone else is taken. So own it. Warts and all. You're all you have right now. And that's all you need. Because there is such a wealth. And what you have and what you're to do in this planet, no one else can do. There is this basement. There's a piece of the puzzle missing when we're not engaging in what our life path is telling us to do. I'm looking at it. And I'll send you an email copy of this chart. I sent reports. I must have sent it to the wrong email. I don't know. I may not have sent it at all. It's been kind of crazy. I've been stopped by the cops like 2-3 times. And I'm getting really sick of it. Because it's your brake light. No, I fixed that. You know, it's your brake light. No, it's not. I fixed it. No, it's the other one. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So they're full of shit. But anyway, let's get back to you. Let me draw up another report. Let's draw up the children and young people. And just to kind of, from a child's point of view, or from a parent's point of view to a child, let's talk about Pisces as a rising sign. You are very sensitive and can perceive others' feelings very quickly, but in such a way that they become your feelings. For this reason, it is a good idea to avoid being around negative people, because you will start feeling negative also. You are inclined to be idealistic, so it is important for you to believe in something beyond what you know with your senses. Your imaginative quality may give you talent in art or music, or it may simply emerge as inventiveness and creativity that you can apply in many areas of your life. You are very sympathetic to others, and if someone needs help, you are there to give it. You're not always self-assertive, and you may be envious of those who appear to have more energy or who can push to get their own way. Do not envy them, because the world needs your kind of person, the quieter people who try to make the world better for the rest of us. But in this world, and you know, it's not unnoticed that we've not been given a fair shot to become leaders in such an abusive, greedy, violent world. So hats off to you for hanging in there, okay? Now your sun is in Aries, very energetic, spirited. You tend to be impatient if events don't move as quickly as you would like. This might cause you to become totally wrapped up in yourself, simply because you aren't relating to others enough. You have a mind of your own, and you do not care if anyone else agrees with you. I totally get that. You like to be the first to do everything, and often you take risks that others consider unwise. Just be careful to avoid real trouble and try to listen to what others have to say. In fact, they may be trying to help you. You are rather quick to anger, but you do not hold grudges. However, while you are angry, you act rashly and may say things that you regret later. So when talking to other people, you prefer to be simple and direct. Just be careful not to be so blunt that you hurt other people's feelings. I've gotten to the point, because I have an Aries, progressed Aries sun, ascendant. So, I mean, excuse me, I tend to be really blunt. And to the point where I apologize before I even say anything and go, look, I might offend you, but you asked me to tell you about this, and I'm going to tell you, and so, or I've noticed that you do this and now you're asking me for help. I'm going to tell you, but that's only because I seen people's reactions, got the bad reaction. You know what I'm talking about, and it's not pleasant, and it's not, I don't want to do it that way. So I have to find another way, and this is trial and error. Life is trial and error. It's like the Aries understands, your Aries sun understands. You fall down and skin your knee. Well, you're learning. And you have that patience. You have the ability to be really patient. So, yeah, I mean, just give yourself that liberty. With your sun in the second house, you love security, which for you means being surrounded by comfortable, familiar objects. The only problem is you may try to own more things than you really need, so that your life is cluttered with material possessions. You may find it difficult to share, but if you want to have good friendships, you're going to have to learn how. Now, I was talking about the chart here, how you have nothing on that partnership side of your chart. You have signs. You have the sign of Leo. So the best way for you to work in relational things with people and learn is to play. Leo is playing. Frisbee, croquet. I mean, I don't care what it is, or croquet, however horseshoes or something. Just play. Just play. And which is really good because people don't play enough, in my opinion. All right, the moon in Scorpio, you have very intense feelings, which can be a strong force in your life. But you may find it hard to understand your feelings because they are so complicated and deep. You want your whole life to be intense and very deep. And that's the Scorpio. Scorpio is the deep water. It's like Pisces is that effusive, the ethers. The other water sign is Cancer. That's the sea foam, the water on the ocean, just the pebbles and the seashells and the crabs, and it's very refreshing and new, and just that's the Cancer. Scorpio is that deep well, and then the top is like no movement, but it's deep. Okay, so that's Scorpio. Very complicated, very deep. If you don't get a great deal of reassurance from the people who are close to you, you feel lonely and misunderstood. Now, I have Scorpio at the top of my chart with my moon and Neptune there. And so if I don't get feedback, like I'm playing music, if I don't get feedback, talk about lonely and misunderstood. I want to just disappear. I'm like completely embarrassed and just, I don't want to be here right now. I'm going to run away. And I have many times just packed up and walked out. I just don't want to. I'm not gonna put myself through that, those feelings. It has caused problems. Anyway, you are very fond of anything secret and mysterious, such as stories about the supernatural. Your need to learn about yourself will help you understand others. Okay? Try not to get so wrapped up in your emotions. It would be better not to take them so seriously. Yeah, that's hard to do, though. You want to nurture yourself too, like I said, it's such a unforgiving, hostile world. I can't guarantee that that's ever going to change. I wish I could say it was, but in the meantime, us supporting each other, us being there for each other and holding each other's hands along. Yes, I've got that. That's why I integrate in this reading stories about me, so that you can understand we're together in this, okay? So you have Venus in Aries. You're very affectionate toward others, but you hate to be tied down by anyone. You're not shy or reserved. You express your loving feelings. You need to be free to love whomever you choose. You are unwilling to give in to your partner because you always want things your own way. This could be a problem in your friendships. However, now is the time when you can learn how to give in, how to make compromises with friends, relatives, and other people. People usually like you because you are yourself, not because you are charming, but because you know what you want and you are willing to go after it. You also have Mars in Scorpio. You have a strong will. You let everyone know what you want, but you do not seem especially pushy, just persistent. If someone makes you angry, instead of blowing up right off, you go into a slow burn. People know you are upset, however, because you are likely to make sarcastic and biting remarks. But also the intensity of your anger, even though it is held in, it might be rather frightening to others whose emotions are not as strong as yours. If necessary, you are a fighter, although you don't look for fights. But when you get into it, you fight with body and soul. You relate to the world around you very much emotionally, and there is very little to which you do not react. All right, so let's look at the data. Your moon at 19 degrees Scorpio with the sun in Aries. That means you are just after the full moon. So the sun was at 27 degrees Aries when you were born, and when the moon was at 27 degrees Libra, which is my moon, that would have been a full moon. Okay, so just we're coming close to your birthday, which is so exciting. So with the moon in Scorpio in your 9th house, what you learn after the fact. Like after it's already happened. Then you examine it and you go, but not too much after, right after. Like some people, it takes them like years to figure out something that happened like 2 years ago, okay? But not you. You will understand it pretty much right after it happened. So that's kind of how the moon also being after the full moon or close to the full moon, you bring a lot. It's like you're full when you show up. You're full emotionally, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop there. We're 27 minutes in. There's a bunch of different things I'd like to do. I'd like to give you a little more information about, just different reports. Let me read off some of the reports that I can show you. There's a daily horoscope, a weekly horoscope. There's a personal portrait, like just what I just read. The ascendant in Pisces, the sun in Aries. There's a partner report. You also have career and vocation, relationships, the long term, like a year out. That's a prediction for the future. I have not really discussed anything that's going on right now. You do have upcoming a full moon in your first house. I mean, it's in your second house, but it's your sun is also its own house. So let's do like a real short report. We got a minute here. So Saturn is in a harmonious relationship to Venus. And this started this year, and it'll go on for another year. So you have an opportunity to build some real relationships in your life, probably for the first time, because you're so young. You have Jupiter square Mars. Now that Mars gives you skill, and Jupiter gives you insight. Put those two together, skill and insight, that's a winning combination. That's happening now. You also have coming up Jupiter and the sun in a harmonious relationship. With that Jupiter coming and shining on all these planets in your life, this is only good. It's optimism. It gives you a good feeling, gives you a respite from that brooding kind of emotional intensity of that Scorpio stellium. You also have Jupiter trine Pluto. You can reform. This is coming up at the end of next month. So you have the ability to reform and remake your life. Pluto is the, Mars cuts, but Pluto is the one that basically opens up the way. It cracks open the nut, and there's like, change now or die. I mean, it just, it's going to happen. Now, with the Jupiter coming close to Pisces, your ascendant, you may have a tendency to put on airs. Just allow yourself to expand. And we're all really excited to see this beautiful lotus unfold. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll talk some more. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything that